Hey there. Welcome everyone to another captivating episode of BU Live. Today, I am so thrilled to have a very special guest joining me, Vishad Doshi, a true master of mindset transformation. Vishad's expertise lies in helping individuals unlock their inner power, overcome self-limiting beliefs, and achieve extraordinary results. I almost got tongue-tied there. Extraordinary results through the power of mindset. With his wealth of knowledge and practical strategies, Vishad empowers people to break free from their comfort zones, develop a growth mindset, and step into their true potential. It's an honor to have you here today. Welcome, Vishad.
Thank you so much, Genie. Pleasure to be here as well. Really excited to be on the show and sort of share this space with everybody watching.
Yes, I am so excited too. So glad you're here today. And for those of you joining us live, please stop in and leave a little comment, say hello. If you're joining us on YouTube, then we can very easily interact with you. If you're on Facebook, we might not be able to see your name, but that's okay. You can still comment. You can also run over to YouTube too if you would like. I do have that link in the Facebook event as well. So however you want to watch today is cool. But yeah, please let us know that you're here. We would love to chat with you during the broadcast tonight. So if you have questions or comments, definitely leave those in the chat and we will get to them. And of course, after the broadcast, we will be heading over to Clapper for another interactive live show. And Clapper's even more interactive than we can be here. So you'll definitely want to check that out too. So let's get started. So Vishad, you call yourself a mindset transformer, and I would love to know what that means.
Great question. I mean, might as well start with the title, right? I will actually call myself the mindset transformer. So I'll split it into the two words that it is, right? So first of all, like, why mindset? Well, when I first started off as a coach, obviously the one checkpoint that we all begin with is, well, coaching what? You know, there's career, there's relationship, there's nutrition, etc. The coaching experience that I went through showed me that all of that, all the niches that you care to pick from, all come down to mindset. Because my own coach iterated that, yeah, look, if you have a clearly defined goal that you've asked yourself you actually want to go after, so whether that's finding a partner or changing your career or losing weight, wherever it might be, then yeah, a specialist coach would help with that because they've got the tools, the techniques to work with you to that goal, etc. What if you don't know what you want, or you say you want something, but you're actually like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What he showed me was that every niche comes down to low self-worth, because my sort of subtag is going, I help you reconcile and overcome feelings of low self-worth to build and forge your own path to your inner peace. So I wanted to choose mindset because I feel that it's bracketed in too easily with life coaching. So, and it also gets compared to things like just self-love, you know, stand in front of the mirror and say that you love yourself. Right. Well, first of all, in that instance, when you look at a mirror and you say that you love yourself, there's your shadow behind you going, really?
Right. And there's the voice in your head being like,
Right. But no, you sort of ignore that and go, no, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And think that I'll fix everything doing it that. The shadow's going, you don't fucking love me. I'm right here.
Yeah.
But you want to ignore me. But bringing back the sort of other niches into it, my perspective at the moment is that you can try any modality you want. There's no right or wrong answer, contrary to what you might hear elsewhere. But it can be complete rubbish if you don't come from a place of higher self-worth to yourself in the first place, which is why when you try things, you might go, oh, I've got no willpower, or you might not be able to stick to it.
Yeah.
Because your subconscious is going, what are you actually trying to do? Because it's not convinced, even though consciously you might be saying it, to go after what you say that you're going after. So this is where essentially the transformation begins, the groundwork, that chasing goals and going around in a circle might not be a great fit for you. So that's why at the moment you're feeling frustrated, tired, unfulfilled, and a bit fucked when it comes to mindset. So essentially your mindset becomes the platform that when you rebuild it can be the place where you can then try on any goal and modality you want. And put it this way, your great series, Be You, has brought together coaches and personnel from all walks of modalities. You've had oracle card readers, spirituality, psychics, all great at what they do and introduce possibilities. Now, some audience members might look at it and go, nah, this all sounds a bit kind of not really sure about that.
Yeah, this is a little out there. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, which is fine. So you can ask yourself the question, where's that skepticism come from? Is it because it's a threat to what you already know, i.e. your world of knowledge? Is it a challenge to your belief system? Whatever it might be, there's something blocking you in there. So what my work allows you to do is to go, I can open myself to possibilities. It doesn't mean I have to believe everything that you hear, but it gives you a chance. So that was mindset. So when it comes to transformation, I see it as a two-way process between myself and you. And when I mean you, I mean the person on the other end of the camera. I don't mean a spawner that fits in a convenient niche. I mean you. The reason I call it two-way is my end of the bargain is I help you reconcile beyond the symptoms that you're looking at to the root cause. Because that's when you go, oh, shit. Because you have the answers already. We just need to go on a treasure hunt to find the treasure that is there.
I like that, a treasure hunt.
And my coach called it a guaranteed treasure hunt. If you don't find it, dig somewhere else.
keep looking.
Honestly, it is there. It is there. But here's the distinction. I'm not alongside digging with you with the spade. I might have the map, the compass, the light. You're the one with the spade. What that would help you do is to set the platform to then go, right, the root cause comes down to low self-worth and you don't feel good enough about yourself. And then from there, we look into my character-based approach, which looks at how you're currently meeting all your core human and practical needs and how we can fulfill them in healthier ways, which basically increases your self-worth power bar. So the reason I say power bar is, do you remember games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all those kind of games? So remember when you were a character, you had a health bar, and every time you got punched or kicked or whatever, it would go down. Same thing at the moment. Your self-worth depletes every time you take part in things like people-pleasing, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, self-sabotage. All those bits chip away at you. So I'm here to be that sort of medical pack that you find in a game, or the I don't know, wizard that increase your health again.
The little restore your
exactly, right? The body armor that you find in games, etc. So that's my side of the bargain. On your side, it's to lead us through the character work and be responsible for the practice that we go through. So that transformation is realized in two ways. First of all, you get to define what your transformation is. Now, some people come along with that big headline goal of, yes, I want to change my career and have anger management and lessen my anxiety. All great. Or someone could come along and I just want to be more confident in public speaking. Both sets are absolutely fine. That's exactly what the work deals with. And they both make sense and can be transformative for the person themselves. So the beauty of the work is we don't actually go after that goal. All of that gets achieved as a natural byproduct of repairing your self-worth. So actually you go, oh shit, I actually was able to speak in public, or I did make a tweak in my career, or whatever. And then you're coming from a place of better self-worth. And then lastly, transformation comes from the person opening up their own possibilities. So to bring back what we said before about other modalities, it opens them up to go, okay, I've repaired my self-worth. Now I can look into other mediums to keep improving. So when we explore that realm just beyond things like toxic positivity, so beyond just looking in front of a mirror going, I love myself, everything's okay, I'm not nervous, I'm excited, you actually realize what you truly feel. You process your emotions as they are naturally. You don't have to fight to suppress them. And you realize there isn't any hidden secret. You have the answers already. And I'll just finish this last bit saying, have you heard of the analogy of the snake oil salesman? So we often get purported as you're just a snake oil salesman.
Right.
What are you actually selling to people? I come from the perspective, if you think I'm selling snake oil, okay, I might be selling snake oil. Maybe you're right. But the way I operate is my work could work for you But there's a specific way or set of instructions that would increase your chances of it working for you. So if you use the oil analogy, it'd be like me saying, take a sip of it every day at this time, and then you'll start to see the effect if you keep practicing it. But if you then choose to instead use the oil and rub it in parts that I shouldn't be telling you to rub it into, and then you find yourself going, oh, actually, this feels quite nice. I'm going to go, all right. If you've then got softer bits because of that, okay. But it's not the way I would say for it to work for the changes you want.
Right.
What I'm saying there is like, you're welcome to take from the work. The mindset transformation can mean whatever you want it to be, but it's got to come from you. So whether you take a tiny bit or the whole thing, it all starts with you or ends with you, but the possibilities are there when you take your own responsibility and take the practice for yourself. And that's why we forge your path together for your inner peace, even if you change your mind on the way of what that is.
Yes. And Joey just added in, transformation begets transformation and truth begets truth.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Probably a more succinct way than I went on for 10 minutes.
Well, you know, she had the benefit of getting to sit here and listen to you and, you know, and summarize it. So, and she was also noting, she was saying earlier about the game. She was talking about, oh, you're speaking my language, gamification, and like the power bar. I love that visual. Like, I'm going to have that in my head from now on, the little power bar and like going and getting like your little bonus or whatever.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean. Like, if you stretch that analogy even further, you're like, sometimes you run around going, where the hell is that shield or power pad or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait a minute, there must be like a walkthrough I can watch on YouTube. Someone's played the game. I can, oh, where did you find it?
Yes.
And that's kind of how it is. You know, you have the answers already somewhere. That's why we go digging.
It's a matter of going and accessing them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to ask you about is belief, because you were talking about belief earlier. And I feel like belief is one of those things that almost can get thrown into that toxic positivity thing where, like, you know, people are like, oh, you just have to believe in yourself. You just have to believe in yourself. You just have to believe in yourself. And I'm curious what your experience has been, because my experience is that people are often not necessarily consciously not believing in themselves, right? Like, if you were to ask them, do you believe? Of course I believe in myself, right? Like, but in reality, they don't. Or like the low self-worth, similar thing. Like, someone might say, oh no, I'm confident, right? Like, I don't have low self-worth, but it's like, yeah, but you're people pleasing all over the place and you don't have any boundaries. You do have low self, you know? So how does that come up in your work? Do you find that people are often aware that they have some of these things going on, or that they're not aware?
Definitely the latter. Because first of all, you're talking about, right, where did these beliefs come from? How did we get into automatic patterns and behaviors? Did we have a moment where we're going, wait, hang on, what does that actually mean? Or do we just literally play like a robot?
Yeah.
So you just said, you know, when you ask someone saying, do you think you got low self-worth? Like, no.
Right. Of course not.
What part of you is saying that? It's your ego. Your subconscious going, oi, you're getting attacked here. I better protect you. So you get defensive.
Yeah.
So the first port of call there is to go, well, where did that come from? Your subconscious will spit up exactly what you naturally feel. So if you feel you have to be defensive about yourself and kind of engage in protection mode, which actually I'll come to that in a separate answer. Yeah, the work essentially starts with, where do these beliefs come from? Now, what I've showed through my work is that it's essentially unresolved trauma from childhood that impacts our lives today. Now, before people think, oh, we're just going to get stuck in childhood, I'm going to need the couch and I'm going to have to lie down and, you know, explain all my relationships. No, it's not like that. This is more about just revisiting those experiences for the sake of learning from where things started and where we can go on from there. It's not to go, right, stay there, that's it, take pills, off you go. So in that regard, we first of all go, okay, where did trauma come from? Well, there's two definitions you can split into. You've heard of capital T trauma and small t trauma. So capital T is typically those headline like trauma. So domestic violence, sexual abuse, alcoholism, etc., etc. Small t trauma could be literally anything that is traumatic to the person at the time. Now that's the key bit, at the time.
Yeah.
So I like to use the example of, say a child has an ice cream They go to the ice cream van. Their parent buys them an ice cream. It's all got nice sauce and sprinkles and all that stuff on it, right? It looks great. And for whatever reason, seconds later, the child drops it on the floor. And they're going to be really upset. And as an adult, well, let me ask you, Genie, as an adult, what would you do what would you say to the child or do?
Oh, goodness. I don't have kids, so kids are not my area of expertise, but, you know, probably like, you know, it's okay. No big deal. You know, like,
right.
Yeah,
so as an adult, you don't make a big deal of it.
Right.
You're like, oh, okay, I'll either get you another one if you've got the money.
Yeah.
Or if the ice cream van's driven us, like, oh, it's okay, we'll get another one tomorrow, right? So it's a minor inconvenience. But to the child, it's like, fucking hell, my world has collapsed.
Oh, yeah. Devastating. Yeah.
It's your equivalent of you coming home and finding, oh, shit, my house is on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no, that makes total sense. Yes.
So people might scoff going, oh, yeah, but, you know, we're not fussed about ice cream. Mm-hmm. True. The point is we've had these sort of small T traumas that add up individually to the impact of a capital T trauma. So when people talk about trauma, people are like, no, I haven't had trauma.
Yeah.
Well, two questions. Are you a human being? Right. And were you ever a child? Yeah. If the answer to both is yes.
Breathing, you've had trauma. Birth is traumatic, okay?
Perfectly put. Yeah. Now people might go, yeah, but aren't we having to go at people like, you're traumatic and you're traumatic? Point here is to actually normalize the instance of like, what you've been through is okay.
Yeah.
But also it's the answers to where you are now, right? So to carry another analogy on, if you imagine a car production line, a car plant, right? The car gets made individually along the way. So you've got the chassis, then some other robot or human puts the wheels on, etc., till you get a full car at the end of it, right? You think of humans that operate on the same production line. When we're born, we're programmed with nothing. We come out going, oh, shit, now what? My food pipe's gone. Who the fuck nicked that? I can't put my head up. Oh, wait, who's that? Oh, that's mum. But I can't talk. Shit, I can't. Well, how do I communicate? So you're basically contingent on your caregivers bringing you up. Therefore, you're like, right, if I don't listen to them, I might actually die. So I better listen to them.
Yeah.
So when that happens, if you think about the analogy of the car plant again, you get built as you go through life. People in your life add programs into you.
Mm-hmm.
They add bits on and bits on, bits on. Now, with a car production plant, if cars come out at the end of it with a fault in them, like, you know, they break down after 10,000 miles or something, you can go back to the production line going, right, who the hell messed this up? So you can pinpoint where it went wrong. You can't really do that with a human production line, because if you did, you might find someone and you go, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know, I just did what he told me to do. So whoever trained you. Now, your parents kind of picked up their parenting from your grandparents.
Yeah.
You picked it up from their. It's not a blame game. We're not saying, right, it was you, it was all you. It's just understanding that, like, we're all humans who all make mistakes and we're all trying the best we can as we come along, right? So coming back to the idea of beliefs, essentially start from there. They're like, if we display some natural behaviors or emotions, or particular ones, I should say, then we reinforce the belief that from our caregivers who said, don't do this, or don't say that, or do this, you basically create a filtration system going, right, I naturally wanted to cry there, for example. A baby or a child will just cry. I don't care who's around me. I don't go, wait, I better not cry because people are looking at me. They will burst, right? But it gets the message of don't cry going, right, I better not cry, because if I keep crying, they're not going to look after me. If I don't look after me, I'm going to die. So I'm going to put crying in the negative emotions folder. I'm going to put that away. I'm never going to do that again. So you create positive and negative emotions for you. You all start neutral, but we create positive and negative.
Yeah.
And that's where then limiting beliefs come from. So if you have a small boy who grows up in his early years to be quite sensitive, you know, relatively mature for his age, but one day his dad goes, don't cry. Boys don't cry. Men don't cry. The message the boy gets going, right, it's not acceptable for me to show my emotion and cry. He puts that part of him away, and it manifests in teenage years, early adulthood as problems because he can't open up to anybody. He can't be intimate with a partner. So the problem in his future manifests like, I can't find a partner or stick with a partner. He can't be intimate with them. Track it backwards, it's because he shut down that part of him years ago. Another example is a girl who's naturally playful and expressive gets told by her caregivers, you've got to tone it down, calm down, quieten down. girl receives a message that it's not good enough to be expressive. So she shuts that side of her down. Consequently, when she becomes a manager in her working life, she finds that a lot of people push her buttons at work, where she's tried so hard to keep down her expressive side. People use that and exploit her. So she might have outbursts at work, manifests in, I can't keep a job, or I have struggle in my career. So those adult issues that we're like, I'll just change your job or do a simple thing, something easy. Can do, but then you just go around in circles.
Right. Yeah. If you change your job and you don't change you,
right,
you just get the same, however long it takes for the honeymoon period to wear off. Right. And then you're back in the same place. And same thing with relationships, right? Though you break up and you start a new relationship, but if you don't change yourself, right, you're back in the same old relationship.
You will still be around with you. You're just dragging you into the next scenario.
Yeah.
So the answer to actually go back to your question about how do we look at limiting beliefs and perhaps readdress them.
Yeah. Well, how can people begin to turn some of these patterns around? Because obviously, like you said, we all have them, right? We all were children. We all picked up these belief systems, and, and a lot of them are supported by society as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they're reinforced, right? And particularly by things like religion and culture, like that can even magnify some of these, because some of them are very much woven into the fabric, of our culture and, generations. So how can people start to begin to rewire some of these beliefs in their own minds?
I really like that question, because that's kind of people going, can you give me a quick answer, or is there a quick answer? It's like, first, no.
Right. I wish, right?
unlike the last level in a video game, or the last page of a book, or the last track of a music album, there isn't an end point. We're always a student. So when you have that idea in mind of okay, there actually isn't a state where I can get to saying, do you know what, I've clocked it. You'll always keep learning. You'll always make mistakes. You'll always fuck up here and there. That's all part of the process. So actually just starting with that, going, I don't have to be perfect. That immediately takes the pressure off yourself to be right, which I'll come on to an example shortly. Essentially, this is why my work starts with what I call Emotions 101. So essentially, we first of all get a sense of where you are at the moment. What are the stories that you're telling yourself? And then, as I said, look at those programming experiences that we've been through in life to uncover, what your current limiting beliefs, etc. are. So to rewrite them, I put in 2 key questions. What do you want? Not in a kind of what do you want? But more kind of, right, let's say someone comes in their first session or whatever and says, typically you might start discussing what goal do you have, what you're looking for in a coach.
Yeah.
And they'll express a goal, whether it's like a timed goal or a numerical goal, or,
or I just want to feel better or whatever. They have some outcome they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you go, why? And they go, to get it, say I want to lose weight. Okay. Whatever definition that is.
Yeah.
X pounds, better shape, better body image, whatever it might be, all good. Why? I want to look better. Why? Because everybody around me says I should get into better shape, or everybody else has joined the gym and I should think I'd do the same. Why? You get stuck. So that when you go, your subconscious is going, yeah, see, I told you. No, do you? That's the clash you have between your head and heart voice. Your heart voice goes, I don't really want to lose weight. I just say I do. Why? Because my partner told me you're looking a bit podgy in that outfit. You should do.
Because I'm supposed to, right?
Exactly.
I'm supposed to look a certain way.
So what's going on at the moment is your subconscious will throw up the answer to the question naturally. Well, your head voice is going, hang on. Before you say it out loud, are you going to look stupid, naive, gullible, controversial, ill-informed? Hang on. Let me check that. Let me check what the subconscious just said. You're going to say, no, I don't really feel like it. No. This is a coaching session. You've got to look more better than that. What do I say instead? Hold on. Let me think of something. So it spins the PR machine.
Yep.
So that's when if you use I-axis and cues, you can tell where a person's looking in their head for an answer. And then when it spits out an answer, it's like going, well, it's not because people are saying I'm not. When they say it's not, it is.
It is. Yeah.
So in that first instance, it's not to blame people to go, see, you're doing it wrong. It's like it's just giving them the clues to the answers themselves. You have the answer. That answer going, I don't want to, is okay.
Yeah.
If you went, I want to lose weight, and you're like, really? You sure? I had that exact experience when I started with my coach. I went to my coach with no goal. I went, I just want to see what it's actually like being coached, because I think I might want to be a coach. My coach looked at me like you are on Zoom going, you say you're saying you want to be a coach, but I don't believe you. And that's when I went, oh, yeah. And he said, it's what a lot of people do. They say what they want. But then when you dig under it, you're like, you sure? Now, at the end of the work that you do, it might well be that, yes, you do want the goal you began with. Absolutely fine. That's when niche coaching is exactly right for you. So I can go, right, you want to lose weight. I know. Okay, let's say I want to help my business. I know Genie Lang. She will sort you out. You show the people the possibilities. Now, whether they then talk to you and carry on, that's up to them.
Right.
It's about, but now they're not going to you just because, like I just said from the first session, I'll go to Genie, not me. It's more like you're coming from high self-worth. They're coming to you with an idea of like, I want this. And that's where you can help show your expertise.
And those are the best clients, by the way, because that, what you were saying, like the losing weight example, I see that with entrepreneurship too. People say, oh, I want to start a business. I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. Do you? Because a lot of, a lot of people like the idea of it. A lot of people are interested in it. But when it really comes down to it, if you were to go through those same questions, which I've had to do a few times with some people, they would get to that they actually don't. They just hate their job. They just hate having a boss. That's not the same.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. The root cause.
And so I love it when people come to me and they've already worked with someone like you. They already know that they really do want this, because if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, I cannot make you one.
Exactly. Well, the
you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
The irony is niche coaches will somewhere along the line talk about your mindset.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Fucking ironic, isn't it? I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm not saying I have all the answers. But this is the point of going, you just do life coaching. I don't tell you to just go, oh, I'm feeling, la, 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 la. Shut your emotions. No, I go to your dark side. We go fucking dark. Not grim. We're not doing it to be controversial or like, it's because the answers are there.
Yeah.
We could bring up shit that you don't want to talk about. It's fine. You lead the way, but you want the answers. I saw a great quote the other day saying the treasure you seek is in the darkest cave you don't want to go into.
Yeah.
And this is essentially quite stark to people because they're like, well, isn't this meant to be all sort of light and airy fairy? No. There are people that purport that, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. See, I'm not one of those to engage in. I'm the only way to do things. Follow me. Everybody else is an idiot. There's room for everybody. We're all trying to find our way to see what works for us. We don't need to chastise. There's enough people in the world giving you shit for the shit you do.
So we don't need to add to that.
Literally, but the amount of people in our space that seem to go, it's me, everybody else is an idiot. Don't do this, do that. People didn't mean to do what they're doing.
Right.
They want some help. They may not say they want to do help, but to point out that you're an idiot and you're this, well, you're just reporting the same message that you're not good enough. You keep punching their self-worth bar down, down, down even further.
Yep.
So I keep going off track. That's quite common with me. But the second question I would start with for people to rewire is to go, if you have a limiting belief about whatever it is, it probably distills down to one or two things. I can't do this.
Yep.
Or I'm going to fuck it up.
Yeah. I'm not going to do well. Yeah.
Yeah. In those elements comes straight away your perfectionist character. They might look at a new challenge or whatever and go, you're going to be able to pull this off perfectly first time and get, all the plaudits of recognition. No, then don't do it.
You're don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So where did that come from? That belief of stupidity, that goes back to childhood. Why? Things like messaging, like be special, be a good girl, always get the best grades would sound good.
Yeah.
Sound great, but incredibly traumatic if you look at it from a perspective of now you're giving the person pressure to always be at that level. And if you're not at that level, then you're not good enough. So a great example my coach had is that he said, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, to borrow Dr. Pepper's tagline?
I love that question. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
So
the worst
he gave this example, right? Say you were going to go on stage and deliver something to an audience, a speech, a song, stand-up comedy. He used stand-up comedy because he was trying out stand-up comedy. He said, other than somehow literally dying on stage where your body ceases to function and you actually die, what is the worst thing that could happen? Let me ask you, what's the worst thing that can happen?
I could forget what I was going to say and like I could fall down, make a fool out of myself.
Exactly. It's exactly it. So he said, so some sort of connection malfunction, i.e. they don't like your voice, or they don't get your jokes, or they heckle you, or you forget your material, etc. All valid, or possibly things that could happen. He said, what about the worst thing being that you could actually crap yourself on stage? You could stand there, get that nervous, you void your bowels, and you shit yourself.
That would be bad.
That would be all, and people are like, oh God.
Bad.
That'd be, oh God, I don't want that to happen. Oh God, I'm gonna look like an idiot. Yeah, you would. Yeah,
that would be bad.
But he goes, consider this. The audience now have a funny story to tell their mates down the bar or pub going, hey, I just saw a comedian just shut himself on stage. And then you as a comedian or prospective one have a joke for your
you have a great joke.
Right? You know, I came out to my first gig and I shat myself. A hell of an icebreaker. But he also then said, right, consider this. How likely is it that that would actually happen? So unless you've had some very dodgy food beforehand or you're really nervous, is that going to happen?
Pretty unlikely.
Pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
As are probably other scenarios that go up in various degrees of unlikeliness, right? So when you're comfortable with the worst thing that could happen in a scenario, other than actually dying, which you can't control anyway.
Right.
Then suddenly you go, okay, what actually then happens doesn't matter. So you might enter that scenario in your head going, I'm not going to be funny enough. They're not going to laugh at me. I'm going to forget shit. I'm going to get nervous. I'm not going to be, all limiting beliefs stemming from I'm not good enough. So when you can open your possibilities and go, okay, things could happen. If they happen, okay, they're unlikely to happen. So therefore I can concentrate on refining my material, practicing with people, going early to the venue, checking out all things that would help you get more confidence and give you more for your subconscious, more info going, oh, okay, this seems like a nice venue or whatever. The crowd are okay. So your subconscious buys into what you're doing. So when you keep building that and practicing it, and this is where it's like, it's not a singular answer. It's about practice. Anything you hear is practice. So then when you're comfortable, your self-worth suddenly goes up a bit. And then you end up delivering a routine, which may not be perfect. But it's like, well, I did it. But at the same time, if you can also catch yourself still really nervous before you begin, go back to the first question. Do you really want to do this? Not in a kind of accusing way, but just check in with yourself.
But yeah, is this really what you want? Yeah.
And if it's no, that's okay. This is where a lot of people get stuck. If I say no, I'm indecisive. I can't make my mind up. Look, I'm having a go at me, if I'm having a go at me, if I'm having a go at me. You get stuck in the loop again. Or you can just go, yeah, is this what you want? With as much certainty as you can into it, knowing that what might happen might not be great, but you're okay with that. Your self-worth goes up incrementally. And then up to you. Do what you would need to do. You may decide to go, I'm not going to go stand up. I'm going to sing a song, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But that's your possibilities. If you want the magic, you create the magic. Oh,
no, I was just thinking, what?
And rub that out. That's very twee. That's very twee.
No. I was just going to say, what an elegant way, because this, you know, a concept that I talk about sometimes is just taking action and like, what do I really mean by that? And I love the way what you just described to me is taking action, like that, the story of the comedian, because how can you take action? By going to the venue before, you know, and going to a show and seeing that it's a good crowd, right? By practicing your material more, those are ways of taking action. And I kind of call that baby steps, right? It's like, okay, I'm afraid to get up on stage. Great. There's so many other ways I can take action before I get on stage. You know, just like when I'm talking to someone who's afraid to get on camera, there are things we can do before we turn on the camera, you know, to create that safety so that when you do it the first time, it's still going to be scary, but you're probably not going to shit yourself. So it'll
100%,
be okay.
100% nailed it. And what I just quickly add to that is, if you find you don't want to go on stage or switch on the camera or do that, that is okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't need to beat yourself up going, I have to do this and what other. Why? Because you're knocking your own self-worth down again. Now people go, yeah, but then what's the magic moment to go, you know, yes, that's what I want. To be honest, there isn't really one. That's you'll only know that yourself because you just practice and ask yourself a lot. People go, well, isn't that crazy if I just talk to myself? The best conversation you have. Yeah, because that's where your answers are.
Conversationalist, of course.
Exactly. Imagine that, two genies talking to each other. That'd be amazing.
That would probably, I don't know if the world can handle that.
I don't know. You'd be surprised, right? I mean, I'm sure someone's made the pun between genie and magic somewhere. So,
oh yes, for sure.
Exactly, right? So, you know, I'll leave it to them. But yeah, like people feel that like it's, when they hear the words taking action, that means like all action, dynamism, all day. If it works for you, fine. But you don't have to be coerced into thinking that's the only way. So there's sometimes a part of you that just goes, fuck it. I just want to sit on the sofa, open a bag of chips, watch some cartoons, even though I might be 39 years old, and that will do me. That's not special. That's not taking action. That's not being 1% better every day. Well, fuck that. By definition, if you're doing 1% every day, then that technically means, by the boundaries of maths, that in 100 days, you're going to be perfect. No, because you'll have reached 100%.
Oh, yeah. So, good point.
So how does that work?
Yeah. How would that work?
I'm all for like sayings and motivation, and but if you just rely on that, thinking, oh yeah, they said that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, as I said, if it works for you, fine. But there are other possibilities. It's something I've mentioned before. Like, you have your own possibilities. There isn't just the singular one way. There is a way. It's your way. That's it.
Yeah, your way. Yeah. Yeah. The best way to do something is your way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly it.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, why don't you share with us how people can get in touch with you and how they can book a session with you?
Oh, absolutely. So my website is innerpeacewalker.com. And if you do innerpeacewalker.com/links, as Genie's kindly put up there on the screen, you'll find essentially all the places that I'm knocking about. So obviously my website is there where you can read more about my packages, what I do, etc. There's links to my Facebook group, my Clapper group, my Instagram, a couple of podcasts that I'm about to start, and you can check out replays. My YouTube channel is there. And there is also a link there to get your free soundboard session. So this is time between you and I on Zoom, where we literally talk about your path to your inner peace. So feel free to check out whichever link suits you. My email, etc., is on there. So if you just need to drop a message for whatever reason to ask more questions, happy to answer them, or any means you'd like.
Fantastic. Awesome. And that session sounds like something that people should absolutely snag. So make sure you check out the links at innerpeacewalker.com. And then if you're watching us live right now, come over and join us on Clapper Live in 20 minutes. So we'll be over on Clapper. If you aren't on Clapper and you need a link, send a DM to either me or Vashad. Whichever one, I'm sure it doesn't matter. We'll respond. We'll get you a quick join link and get you over there. But we will be live in 20 minutes at 9:00 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to continue this conversation. There's a lot we didn't get to. So, so we're going to keep it going over there. And we will be taking all of your questions and comments live over there as well. So we hope to see you in a few minutes. Vashad, thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation, but thank you for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you, Jeannie, for giving me the opportunity to be on your show. And yeah, look forward to talking with you and everybody else soon.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And we will see you on VU Live next week. Have a great night.